Hey again, everyone. I'm Mike Lowe, and we are here in Madden 24 post the big patch, the 3.4 gigabyte patch that we've all been waiting for to fix franchise mode draft classes, and specifically the body size of players really not matching up to their position. And I'm going to go through a couple examples, especially when we start looking at what happens with some of your existing franchises, because I know that's going to be a really big question. So this video is going to be really quick, really short, and we're going to just go in and just see how things are looking, especially for those existing franchises and whether or not you can continue them unscathed. Let's take a look. Now, of course, you can assume this is going to work just fine with your new franchise. And so I don't need to spend too much time on this, but if you start in week one, you grab a team, you're going to be able to just jump right in. And of course, there's 100 other settings you can go in and adjust, and I strongly suggest doing that. I have some videos on the channel that kind of go through my settings I'm using, and you're going to want to make sure you do that. But for this, we're just doing a quick test. So we can jump ahead to when scouting shows up, which should be after week one of your regular season. And then we can go in. You don't have to click choose prospects if you don't want to. It's going to just default. And so, of course, this is going to be a fictitious draft class here that's been generated post-draft. The franchise was created post-draft, and really what we're just looking for here is like a quarterback with some girth to them. 6'4", 230 is not bad. I'm looking for somebody even bigger than that. 6'5", 234. So this guy would have probably been a little bit chunky, I guess. And so what we can do to actually see it, if you want to see it, is you can click L3 on PlayStation, go to Edit Draft Class, and then that's now going to pull up these different players. And so if we just go down and find that guy, 6'5", 234, is that big enough? I guess we'll try it. We can try it. We'll check out a few players here just to see how things are looking. So this guy should be trim. He is. He doesn't have any kind of like crazy midsection happening. I also am curious to see if it actually, like if we wanted to, because one of the issues was like when you went to go adjust their appearance, you could adjust the gut is kind of what was happening, but it wouldn't actually save. So like you could go in here to physique, go down to gut. Now see, it's interesting. It still shows that it's maxed, but that might not be bad because maybe on a quarterback, it also has this wrong height and weight still. So that's interesting. But as I go into here, is it doing anything? You can see his jersey kind of like moving around. Actually, that's just happening without me doing anything. So I don't see that doing anything. So I don't know, that's interesting, but I mean, nonetheless, it looks like they're correct at least, and then I can just discard these changes. And let's go back and look at him one more time. I am noticing, I mean, it's weird because he's showing as like a white guy, right, in this profile picture, but then here, obviously, different skin tone. So there's still some weird things happening, but I guess the player size does seem to be working better. So that's, I guess, good. Let's try to see if there's another like guy with a little meat on him. 235, 6'1". I mean, you think if that's a pretty beefy quarterback. So again, we're still getting like essentially players' races not matching their profile pictures. I don't know if that will change as you go deeper into your franchise. We can give that a look here in just a little bit. I think for now, let's take a look at what might happen with some existing franchises. Now, apparently, I've read that this update may apply to existing franchises. So this was a test franchise I created before the patch was made. It's still in the preseason. So what we're going to do is just live here. We're going to just go right to the start of the first week of the regular season. I guess I thought there was a shortcut to do that, but there's not. And then we're just going to see what the scout players looks like here. And let's just go in and edit this draft class, basically. So here we have a game-generated draft class. Again, this is before, well, I should say this is after the patch, but this franchise was created before the patch, if that makes sense. And we can, of course, check this just by going in and editing. And I believe the issue is mostly with like strong arm quarterbacks. And so what I usually just do is kind of look for size. Like this guy's 6'6", 236. He is probably going to be chunked. If he's not, then it's probably fixed. And so there it is. So it is fixed. Again, this draft class was, I guess, technically generated after the patch because I didn't advance to that first week. And as far as I know, like the draft class isn't generated in the background. It does seem to be generated at week 1. I don't know that for sure. But anyway, that does look like it is applying to ones that you may have had sitting there maybe in the preseason. So that does look to be confirmed. Just to be thorough, we can do one more player here and just see. I want to find someone, yeah, somebody even bigger than that. Yeah, so looking pretty good there. Looking much leaner than they had in the past. So that's good. And here we are in a very long existing franchise where I'm in like week 15 or something like that. This was, of course, created before the patch, and I'm now checking quarterbacks here. I've scrolled down to the bottom just to not spoil the draft class for myself. But here we have a 6'6", 244-pound quarterback. And he is looking good, looking trim, as they should, I guess. So it looks like it really has worked, even for long-standing franchises. I got a little concerned that it wouldn't because I had read that some people were getting notifications when they rejoined the franchise. When I rejoined both of the little demos I just showed you, that was not happening. I did not get that notification, but it does seem like it's working in both one that was created before, and then when I say one, I'm talking about the draft class created before the patch, and then one that was maybe generated like post-patch, even though the franchise was created before, if that makes sense. So I guess we can just say it seems it's working regardless. However you did it, this all seems to be working really well. So super cool. I have not checked other positions, but at least quarterbacks are looking good. So one can assume, I hope, that it's working elsewhere as well. As a quick little bonus here too, I still see people each year posting about how, oh, my file has disappeared, my franchise is gone. And you're probably seeing a screen like this. And guys, all it is you've disconnected from their servers. So a lot of times this is like your PlayStation has gone into standby. If you look on the bottom left of the screen, you can see it says R2, sign into EA. When you do that, just give it a little bit of time. It will eventually sign in. You can see on the bottom right, it's saying, please wait. Once that refreshes, you'll see some other content kind of refresh and things like that. And then when you go into franchise now, you will see your franchises show up as they should. Let's jump back to something I was talking about at the very start of the video, which was a post-patch franchise that was created. It's the very first thing we did. Thus, of course, the draft class was post-patch created as well. And we were looking at player skin tone not matching the picture. And then when we went into edit, they weren't matching. And so we're looking here now kind of post-draft. I've simmed ahead a year. He has been picked up by the Panthers. Looks like he's a superstar, by the way. Superstar X Factor, wow. But you can see the skin tone still is an issue with it not matching there. And so I'm not sure what's causing that. I don't think that was ever an issue in previous Maddens. I don't even know if that was happening before the patch. It very well could have. I guess it's not the end of the world. And I guess what I'm curious is, like, sometimes you can go in, because I remember doing this when you'd get like blank player photos. You could go in and, like, they used to let you select like a player photo to show, and I don't know if you can do that still. I mean, maybe it's an appearance, because a lot of them are still the same. So if we go to head, and like all you'd have to do is like just kind of like flip back, like, so say if we like selected this, and I think we need to save it. And so if we save this, okay, yeah, so that does work at least. So that's something you could do. And then of course you should be able to go back and just replace it if you wanted it to be like the exact one that was before. So again, you can just go and edit appearance. And I think you have to actually save that and back out. I don't recall. It's been a few years since I've done that. But I forget which one it was. I had a goatee or something. So could just go with that. And then you should be able, like, before you back out of it the first time, you can look at what head number it was, and then that will actually confirm. But I just remember he had a goatee. That's all I can really remember. So anyway, that will at least get that fixed. So that's not, I don't think that's going to like break your franchise or anything, and then that's going to match a lot better there. So there you have it. We just did a really quick walkthrough of some things I'm seeing post patch with the draft classes. I think for the most part, it's definitely good. I mean, we're talking 85, 90 percentile of good. There is a little bit of bad. I think people may freak out when they start noticing that skin tone thing, but there is a fix for it. It's straightforward, but it's going to be a little bit time consuming. But you'd only have to do it really once a year after the draft, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I mean that's 200 and something players you essentially would have to go in and do that for. So I don't know. It's not the greatest, and it's I feel your frustration. I feel it too. I mean, I see that this game, like I don't hate on Madden. I still think it's a solid, fun game, but it's hard not to notice how much attention other game modes get, like Ultimate Team. I mean, look at the screen here. Everything is for Ultimate Team. Even though I'm hovered over franchise, I'm not seeing like anything from my last franchise. Like show me my most recent first round draft pick there instead of Randy Moss. Show me a player card or something, or like something from the news of that franchise here instead of is it Karlaftis? I'm not sure how you say his last name, but show me something from my franchise. Pull me into it. Make it seem more connected, literally, for me. So anyway, that's a whole other video someday. I wanted to keep this one pretty short, but I hope this helps. If it did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you got questions or if you're seeing anything else, and I'll be sure to check those comments and get back to you all. But I'm Mike Lowe. I'm on Twitter at MikeLowe47. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys soon.